Hey guys, Lemon02. This is cube draft number 11 for me. 10 did not make it to film. So, I have taken two pretty open picks. I'm trying to draft this one as correctly as I can and not force anything. The first pick was not a good one. It was between Ponder and Underground C. I took Underground C. Here we can speculate a bit. The second pick was not much better. I mean, there were some good blue cards like Mystical Confluence, but it's a really expensive card, and I just ended up taking Coalition Relics. It's open. Sneak Attack is very enticing. I have not seen any like massive monstrosities, but I also like Volcanic Island to no small extent because it allows me to stay pretty open and have like a good Grixis Pie mana base. But Sneak Attack is very, very powerful, right? I think in pack 1 it's worth speculating on Sneak Attack because you could get something that just goes with it very, very well. Okay, Rakdos Return is Kitesail Freebooter is also quite good, but I'm not per se in black yet. I mean, I could be with the Underground Sea, and Coalition Relic fixes for pretty much anything. Rakdos Return also goes kind of decently well with Coalition Relic. Sower is not a blue card that tends to interest me that much. If I wanted to force Red Deck Wins or White Weenie, it's obviously open. Do I want to do that? Probably not. Sphinx of the Steel Wind's a decent card. For Reanimation, it's not really per se great with Sneak Attack, though. Rakdos Return's kind of what I'm leaning towards, although I do think it has a decent chance of wheeling out of this pack. So, what do I do instead if I don't want to take that? Nothing else is really that interesting there. I mean, I could hedge into like a White Weenie or Red Deck Wins deck. I'm going to take Rakdos Return and just go for something different, guys. I mean, Red Deck Wins is obviously open. Tamiyo is fine. Seachrome Coast is just fixing. Corpse Dance also goes quite well with Sneak Attack. We could take that and go into like Grixis Reanimator. I'm going to give it a shot because I do think it goes well with my Reanimation effect. Alright, so we have Force of Will, which stands out to me in this pack, but I don't have a lot of blue cards to go with it right now. Sorcerer's Spyglass is just fine, but I think here it's going to be Force of Will. I do need to pick up more blue cards to make it, a viable, playable card. Alright, Oppo is quite powerful. Phantasmal Image is interesting from the standpoint that if they put a big card into play, sneak attacking it is pretty decent. I also don't mind Necromancy because it also, again, works well with Sneak Attack, and we could just Sneak Attack in stuff that we don't really... It's not going to kill them, but we could reanimate after we sneak it in. I don't think I'm opposed to that. I think it's probably better than Phantasmal Image, although our Force of Will pick may kind of not look that good. We could also take Wheel of Fortune and try to stay as open as we can. I don't think it's Grim Tutor here. I'd rather have like a 2-mana tutor or a 1-mana tutor. Yeah, I'm going to pick up the Reanimation. Okie doke. Well, this pack is not that hot for us. I mean, there's obviously some White Weenie and Red Deck Wins cards, but I don't really want to be doing that. There's a Relic of Progenitus, which just cycles, but I don't think that's quite it. I may pick up a Siege Gang Commander. You could value Siege Gang Commander out through Sneak Attack. I mean, it's either that or like a Relic of Progenitus, but like Relic seems to be actively bad in my deck. I'll pick up Siege Gang and put it in the sideboard. Okay, Phyrexian Arena allows us to draw a lot of cards. Collective Defiance is actually a cycler. It allows you to cycle your cards. Lotus Bloom is pretty powerful when you have it in your opener. I don't know on this one. Tezzeret is a powerful card in general. I think I'm going to pick up Arena because I think I am tending more towards black here. Alright, Buried Alive goes in the Reanimator deck. I mean, it's a lot of mana, but when it works pretty big time. Sweltering Suns, I think, is the pickup here against aggro decks if I need to sideboard it in. Again, yeah, the Red Deck Wins deck is open. I mean, I guess I could pick up this thing or a Glorybringer, maybe. Yeah, I'll pick up this thing. Direfleet Daredevil is a card that this deck could play. It's actually not horrendous. So, what do I think of this deck so far? I've never drafted a black-red deck before. I think black-red does lend itself best to being a Reanimator build, as opposed to like mid-range. I'll pick up Mishra's Factory. We're pretty far away from White Weenie. If we wanted to force it, we could have, and had probably a pretty solid deck. But we're gonna leave that to someone else. Yeah, I mean we could have wheeled all these cards for Red Deck Wins or White Weenie, which is why like oftentimes I it seems like I'm forcing it, but I just know how these drafts are gonna tend to go because folks are trying to do cool stuff, and we're kind of trying to do cool stuff now too. So we're just trying something new, and maybe we'll go 1-2 with it. Maybe we'll go 2-1. I oftentimes feel that, these style of decks, while cool, like, are not even remotely as consistent. Like, right now, Force of Will is probably not a playable, because blue's kind of cut off to us. We're going to need to get discard to make this deck work. I guess blue's not totally cut off, but we're not pitching to Force of Will, so we'd have to be hard casting it, which is like very hopeful, I think. And I guess if we really wanted to, we could backdoor into a red deck wins deck plan. What is happening here? All right, that's what was happening. We're getting chatted with. All right, so here there's Kozilek, Butcher of Truth, which works pretty well with our primary plan. There's a Steam Vents. There's also a Library of Alexandria, which is a very strong card. I don't think I need to take Kozilek. I mean, Steam Vents I like a lot. Shellback Isle I also really, really like. I think I'm going to take Library of Alexandria just because of the upside of the card. Thousand Year Storm is a very interesting card. I mean, there's also Show and Tell, which we could play in a Sneak and Show style deck. I don't think it's Treachery, even though I think it's a very good card. There's also Mana Vault, which is also quite good. Show and Tell or Mana Vault? I don't know. Show and Tell is a dicey card. I think I'm going to take Mana Vault and just stay a little more open off of Show and Tell. I mean, we could just be a Reanimator Sneak Attack deck. We don't have good discard outlets yet, outside of just the Sneak Attack itself. Well, okay, or we could pick that up. Entomb is a strong pickup here. I'm going to take it because it's a lot better than Buried Alive. I don't have the dudes yet, but I have, Corpse Dance and Necromancy. So I don't think this deck is like completely closed to me. There's also an Oath of Druids here, which is pretty cool. Or I could take Reanimate, just to be like Speed Reanimator. I don't mind Brain Maggot. If that wheels, that would be great. It probably won't. Lightning Bolt would be good too. I don't know if Reanimate will wheel, and I think this deck really wants that effect. And I don't even know if we're playing blue. I mean, we'll put this in the board for now. I know I should probably put low in the board so you can see my playable count. It's 10 right now, which is pretty low. But, I mean, we're only in pack 2, and it looks like we could get a pretty good Reanimator, like Sneak Attack / Reanimator deck together. And Rakdos Return is probably just fine with Mana Vault and Coalition Relic, because we can power a Rakdos Return out very early and possibly reanimate their stuff and just, bamboozle their hand, just goozle them down to nothing. I would like it if I had a few more blue cards and I could play Force of Will, because I think Force of Will goes very good in this style of deck. It's going to be a tap-out combo deck, like a tap-out aggro combo deck, and being able to stop whatever the next best thing my opponent can do is pretty good. Whether it is them stopping us or whether it is them, doing something that's just better than what we're doing, which is certainly possible in Cube. All right, Una's Prowler is a discard outlet, which is decent. And actually, we were kind of saying we didn't have good discard outlets. I do like Languish a decent bit. I do like Rakdos Signet a lot for this deck. Rakdos Signet or Languish may wheel, though, and Chart of Course is a blue card that I would not mind splashing. But I think for this deck, I'm going to pick up the Enabling card. So we have a decent shell. We don't really have a payoff yet. This deck can take Eldrazi, and they're going to be pretty good. Liliana of the Veil. Well, this is another discard outlet, and it's just a great card to play. Like, it's just a good card in general. So, I think this is perfect for this deck. It should enable once we get the fatties its primary game plan, and it will also just goozle my opponent's hands, kill their creatures. It just kind of is a perfect card for this style of deck. All right, so we have Animate Dead, which is I think what I'm going to take. So again, we're just building to put fatties in play. Another option that was there, if I wanted to keep the blue splash alive, was the tapped Manland in blue-red. And there was Argol's Bloodfast, which I think is kind of more of an ambitious card. I'm not a huge fan of Argol's Bloodfast. Yuggoth's Will is fine, and I'll probably... Well, Imperial Recruiter, what does that do for me? Is it Toughness or Power? Power. So I can't get Una's Prowler. Puppeteer Clique is a very sideboarding... It's a sideboard card. I'm going to pick up Will, I think. You know what? I think I'm more likely to sideboard into a Puppeteer Clique. You can sneak attack it in against an opponent when they're trying to reanimate. Like, in the Reanimator Mirror, this is a fine card, but it's a lot of mana. Yuggoth's Will is a far more powerful card, but I'm far enough in the draft that I know I'm not going to be playing that card. I'm just too far away from Storm to even make a run at it right now. So the card is this deck is very focused. Now the third pack, I don't think I'm going to wheel any of the fatties. I do need to prioritize fatties a lot, just big dudes. Ideally ones that I can, I guess I could take Eldrazi too. Emrakul would still be good because I can Corpse Dance him. Could Entomb him and then Corpse Dance him, or I could just draw into him. Okay, so there's an option here. I don't think it's Dark Confidant because the style of deck I'm trying to build is going to have big things in it. I think it's actually Massacre Worm. Massacre Worm is pretty good. All right, well, I think I'm going to take Show and Tell here and splash it off of my Thousand Year Storm's a cool card too. Splash it off of my Underground Sea. Although I'm not sure I'm going to play it yet. I'm going to put it in the sideboard. Manic Vandal is probably fine interaction. I don't think it's Desperate Ritual. Yeah, we'll put this in the sideboard for now. We may play it. Interestingly enough, well, actually, Kolaghan's Command is really good, and I'm playing red. Oath of Druids would be interesting in this deck as well. Yeah, I'm going to put Kolaghan's Command in my deck, though. Young Peasy, maybe there's a match where I want it. Duretti Scrapper, this dude is actually pretty interesting. I don't have a lot of artifacts, but I am reanimating, and it is a discard outlet. So, I don't have the fatties yet, which are the cards that are generally going to be the worst in your hand, unless you're trying to sneak attack them. But I'll put him in there for now. I mean, discarding 2 cards and then drawing that many cards is pretty good. I mean, Dak Faden's kind of like a better example of what I would want to have as opposed to this, because I'm not using the artifact synergy. Although at the same time, if I pick up a big artifact dude, I do have like these couple artifacts. The Signet did not wheel of note, and maybe I haven't gotten to that pack yet, but I'm pretty sure I have. But yeah, Black-Red Reanimator. I'm almost mono Black Reanimator. Like, I don't per se need to be playing Black, because right now Sneak Attack's just not getting there. Alright, well, there's Gristlebrand, and there is a Blightsteel Colossus. Gristlebrand is probably the correct pick here, because Blightsteel shuffles back in, and I have effects that would work with Blightsteel, like Sneak Attack, but I think Gristlebrand is the correct pickup here. Alright, so I'm feeling a little less like under pressure here to pick up big dudes, because I have that. Tinker is in this pack, which is a complete build-around card, and actually it may wheel. It may wheel. I'm going to pick up Duress here because I think it's a much more... we don't have this element to our deck yet. We don't have like a protection element to our deck yet. But we do have a pretty good density of cards that require being countered. Alright, this is an interesting pack. We could just take a kill spell, like Go for the Throat. Urborg is fine, but I don't really have... I don't have just... I mean, I may be playing some mountains, but I don't think Urborg is necessary in this deck. It's really 2-color. I do think the correct pick is Go for the Throat, but Sensei Stiffing Top's also interesting, because it works with Duretti, but I don't have any artifact dudes yet. Do I have good shuffle effects? So, I have, like, massive draw effects. I guess Sneak Attack if I get Eldrazi. No, I'm going to take a kill spell, just an interaction spell. So this deck's shaping up okay. I don't think it's the best at what it does. I've seen better decks than this at reanimating, but it's got a lot of good discard outlets. It's got Entomb, it's got Una's Prowler, it's got Liliana, it's got Phyrexian Arena to get back up on cards, it's got Kolaghan's Command. Actually, you can use this to discard bad cards out of our own hand. It's also just a good interactive card. It's got pretty decent like ramp if we wanted to ramp. It's got Massacre Worm against the Weenie decks. And it has Gristlebrand as kind of just a good big finisher. I'd like to have Emrakul, but I don't think that's going to be a reality. And it's a possibility the Blightsteel wheels, and if it did, I would probably pick it up in hopes that the Tinker would also wheel. The only downside to that is that was my second pack, so if the person immediately to my right or left... Alright, let's think here. Putrid Imp is a discard outlet. Inferno Titan is actually not a horrible reanimation target for this deck either. And I think I like starting it better than Massacre Worm. Like, maybe take the Massacre Worm out and put in the Inferno Titan. It is guard that just kills them fast. Putrid Imp will probably wheel. I'm going to put Inferno Titan in my deck. Alright, there's a Daze. The best cards for us are Looter Ilkor and Thirst for Knowledge. I have a lot of 3-drops already, so I think I'm going to pick up Looter Ilkor here. And, I mean, I do have a pretty free blue splash. Alright, Dark Petition is probably it. I mean, how many spells do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Pierce is also quite good. I'm not really quite sure here. I think... Could just also be Pentad Prism. Just good acceleration. In a 2-color deck. And it works with Duretti, kind of. I mean, Duretti's not looking at his best here. I mean, I like Pierce an awful lot, too. I'm going to pick up Pierce, I think. That could be wrong. Ultimate Price is probably our pickup here. Yeah, there's really... I mean, I guess I could take Flame Slash for interaction. Yeah, Flame Slash is probably actually better interaction than Ultimate Price is. Alright, well, I like Inquisition, I like Pack Rat a lot. I think I have enough discard outlets for myself. I think I like taking Inquisition better, because it's an effect we kind of want for this deck. Okay, there's Treasure Cruise, which is interesting. We're gonna consider playing this. Is this guy a good reanimation target? Flying Trample, pay 2 life, Surveil 2. Allows you to discard. This guy's actually castable in the deck, too. I may pick this guy up. He seems okay. Makeshift Mannequin. It's kind of a cool card. Urborg probably. So we're actually overplayables right now. Maybe we cut the Pierce. Do I really want Looter El Core? Probably cut Looter El Core. This is 23. It's probably going to be a 17 land deck. We've got 3 reanimation targets. We do have Underground Sea as well. And we have a Putrid Imp now, which is fine. It's a fine dude. Do I need Coalition Relic? I mean, it's not hurting my deck. Duretti may be a bit much. So if we cut Duretti, how many discard outlets do we have? We have this to put them in there. If we have it in hand, we have Liliana. We have Kolaghan's Command. We have Una's Prowler and Putrid Imp. That's probably enough discard outlets from our own hand, to be honest. Experimental Frenzy, sure. I don't know if this is playable. Maybe in like red deck wins, like very light mana count or light land count. Maybe in like Boros land tax, where you just know the rest of your deck is all gas. I don't think we're gonna run Show and Tell in this. We don't have an Emrakul, or like I don't feel like Show and Telling a Gristlebrand into play is pretty powerful, but like, you know, I feel like it's too much of a risk, to be honest. So this is Black-Red Reanimator. Like, I haven't drafted this deck. I haven't drafted a Rakdos deck in Vintage Cube ever, I don't think. It's probably one of my least favorite color combinations in general, because it just tends to be like very much so like get in there, just attack them. It doesn't have a lot of interaction, which seems kind of odd coming from a guy who likes to draft red deck. Well, doesn't mind drafting red deck wins or like White Weenie, but I just think those tend to be better decks. They're just more focused. Rakdos tends to be a little more like, I guess, unfocused is what I would say. All right, so yeah, we basically have a red deck. We do have Kolaghan's Command for the artifacts. We can sideboard into a Manic Vandal if we need to. And we have Sweltering Suns and Massacre Worm for like the heavy creature decks. Let's add basics here. Is 3 red enough for sneak attack? I don't know. We have an Urborg, so maybe we can cut 1 swamp and go with 1 more mountain. I really want to be able to use sneak attack the turn I play it. I do have Coalition Relic as well. Like, how much am I going to get screwed over by having mountains in my hand? I do have Urborg, so I feel like going 1 less swamp and 1 more mountains, like, acceptable. And we don't need a ton of black mana to go off. I mean, I think 4 is right. This is 17 lander. Yeah, we have a lot of ways to discard and kind of like loot. Well, not really loot. I guess, yeah, not really loot, but we have a lot of ways to discard junk out of our hand. I think I'm going to go like this. I mean, I could also want to hardcast and Titan. So I think I'm going to go with 4. All right, let's try this deck out and see how it does. I should take a snapshot of this before we start. So, Snipping Tool. There you are. Actually, I had you open, I think. New. These style of decks I often tend to find I need to take a snip of. All right, that's fine. I don't have Rakdos Return completely on there. But there's just so many like kind of like special pieces that you need to remember. Like it's unlike like White Weenie where it's just like your deck is pretty consistent. It's just most of your cards do the same stuff. This deck has a few A plus B kind of combo things going on. I don't think it's a bad deck though. I don't know if I run the Doom Whisper. I'm gonna try it out. Like it is just kind of like a big dumb dude, and maybe it's just better to have a big dumb dude like Massacre Worm in my deck. But it does fly. It does trample. You know what? Well, we'll sideboard him out. I mean, if we play against like mono green, I think we have a good matchup anyways in that matchup. I'm not sure on this hand. It's close. I think I'm going to mulligan this on the draw. And I'm glad I did. This is not a great hand, but it's better. Alright, so we're playing against a blue deck, which, you know, that's not going to be a surprise to anyone. We'll just go ahead and F6 here. Let them go. Our best draw in the deck would probably be one of our 2 discard spells. They're going to play a dude. Don't play a dude. Just leave up Counter Magic. I kind of don't want pressure right now. Alright, well, they're going to have pressure. Alright, they just played that out. Okay. Hopefully they just slam like a dude that does not make more dudes. Like, not an army in a can dude, but just a guy. Alright, they're going to cycle their Sweltering Suns. Alright, well, they're playing something interesting, too. Maybe they're playing Storm. Because they have 4 colors on the board. Okay, Warm Power Stone. I think that's fine. I'm probably not ever casting Gristlebrand, so I think I'm just going to ditch him. And I'm going to expect to probably Rakdos return next turn. So we'll both discard here. They look like a deck that needs... Well, God, if I get Reanimated on, this is going to be so bad. Like, I'm kind of hoping they're not, like, playing like a Reanimator combo deck. All right, Nexus of Fate's what they cycled. All right. Well, cool. I think Liliana seems like she should be good against, like, a Nexus of Fate deck. Now the pressure's... Oh, they just give up. Wow. All right, well, let's begin sideboarding then. Evidently, Liliana was something they did not want to see very much. Do I want to go more aggressive? No, I'm just going to sub. See what they do. I didn't see enough. Liliana was enough. This hand. Oddly enough, this is a keep. Because of Coalition Relic. And the likelihood that we'll draw swamps. I mean, I would rather have a swamp and a mountain as opposed to 2 mountains in my opener. Alright, well, we have... If we draw into mana, we have a... If we draw like a swamp next turn, that'd be the best draw in our deck, probably. Or an Urborg. And then we can Una's Prowler this dude. Well, looks like we're not going to draw lands. Maybe we'll draw land next turn. If we don't, we're going to be in a bad spot, because red mana is kind of our... Like, red mana on its own is to be weak, and that was a frailty of the hand. Alright, well, looks like we're... Well, the good thing about this is, I mean, even though we're not playing land, we're just going to discard Gristlebrand. And they're going to, like, Thirst. Okay, they're going to cycle Sweltering Suns again. Alright, this. And go. Okay, Phyrexian Revoker, likely naming the Gristlebrand. Which means we can't draw into more cards. And I can actually not go for the Throat this thing. I'm actually going to force them to discard here. Alright, they're playing Twin of some sort. Okay, Power Stone. Alright, let's just see what happens here. So if they try to repeal my Coalition Relic, I think I feel okay with that. So they're going to try to bribery me here. Okay. What are they going to bribes? They're going to bribes the Titan, probably. Oh, this thing. Gristlebrand. They may concede to this. This is pretty rough. That's kind of what I was hoping would happen. This is a rough beat. So I'm going to gain 7 and just draw my deck. Yeah, okay. Sweet. So Makeshift Mannequin actually got to do something there. I rarely see the card played because it's just so expensive. But it is an instant speed reanimation effect, and you kind of blow them out in combat, especially if they opt to tap out for something during their main one like they did there, which was incorrect play. You should have waited to probably do that until after. But it's possible they just wanted to see my deck. His hand's good enough, because it has Krogan's Command to discard one of my fatties if I want to reanimate. The question becomes, do I want to force them to discard on turn 1? I may, just see what we're up against. I mean, if we're up against aggro, we know we need Demise pretty well here, so I think if they're like on a Goblin Guide deck, it's better to do this. Alright, so Stud of War, Vindicate, Path to Exile, they have a lot of answers to what I've got going on. But they don't have any black mana, and they don't have any threats, right? So I think we just get rid of the Stud of War, and just say go. So we are against an aggro deck, and they have 3 very good answers to our cards, to our plan. So we may just be on the plan where we just try to, like, cast this nonsense out. They do have a Vindicate, which can answer Phyrexian Arena, but this is a good card against what they've got going on, I think. No Thalia turn 2. Alright, they got to play. Alright, a Danto. We're going to do this for now. Well, if they have black mana, they can Vindicate this thing, which would be bad for us. So these 2 are gone. We know they have that in hand. And nothing else. If they missed lands, that's good for us. It's possible we just try to block this thing. No, I'm going to force them to do it on their upkeep. See if they want to pay 4 life for it. Because I could just hard cast some of these fatties. Okay, they're going to pay the life. And they're going to discard a card. Angel Invention is the one to go. Okay, they found more land. Alright, we'll put this thing into play. Alright, down to 12. Alright, Hero Bladehold is problematic, so we need to draw a way to kill that. So are we dead next turn? So what can we do here? We could draw 7 and go down to 4, but we know this thing's going to die. This is tough, guys. So I can hardcast the Inferno Titan, but it's going to get plowed, right? And then this attacks for 4 next turn. 3 plus 4, so 7, 11. So I'm dead off of this thing. So I can't do that. I can Necromancy and hope to draw a removal spell, but I take 7 down. This is 3 right here. I think sadly enough, but I can do this. So I can Necromancy, and I can draw into Flame Slash or my other removal spell, right? Or I could just get Angel of Invention, right? Which is a 4/3 lifelinker. That doesn't work. All right, I have to get Gristlebrand here because I know their hand. Well, I know these 3 are in their hand at least. And I need to draw here on my turn. Need to kill this thing. And then what I can do is this, I think. So I can duress their hand. Actually, no, I'm just dead, right? Alright, so no, I'm not. So they have to give me life back if they want to attack. So, and I'm discarding here. Mountain, sure. So I'm not completely out of this game, but I'm not feeling great. Because if they hit a swamp, I just lose. Because they just blow up the Necromancy. They can Mind Twist me. Well, if they hit a swamp, they're gonna Vindicate. But they can't Path me, so they have to plow this thing. Alright. I think that's fine. So like now we know what they drew this turn. So that is gone. Let's just narrow this down. That is fine. And their hand is exactly this now. So I'm taking 3 again. I do not have Massacre Worm. Massacre Worm would actually be good in this matchup, so we're going to bring that card in. We could play in. Now we don't need to draw cards right now. We're not in a position where we need to draw cards. We could Corpse Dance. Well, so wait, let's think this through. So if we Corpse Dance with buyback, this is 5 mana, so 1 mana for Entomb. Buyback on this thing, yeah, it's too much. Oh, but wait. Let's think through this. So if I sneak attack this turn, I'm still a land short. So I can 9 them this turn. So let me think through this. So, well, I can just gain life. Whatever. I'm gonna Gristlebrand them, I think. I don't need recursion on this. Oh, Gristlebrand got exiled. That's right. There's no other play here. So, I mean, we probably just what? Just cast this dude, right? F it. Just cast him out. And they can Vindicate him. They can't Mind Twist this turn, so they need to Vindicate if they drew the black mana. I mean, another way they can win is if they just draw Elspeth, because that's... Okay, I just got him. Okay, so that was closer than it looked. I mean, I probably thought more than I had to. This is a better card than Doom Whisper. Do I want Sweltering Suns? It doesn't deal with the 3-4, but it's probably fine. I mean, it's 2 red, though. 2 red's a lot for this deck at 3. I think I'm just going to resub it. I mean, luckily there's no Containment Priest in this format, so that's good. They do have Mind Twist. That's the thing to be worried about. They have a lot of removal, so the removal is going to be a little spooky, but we have 2 discard spells. You know, I don't think we're in a horrible spot. We have Kolaghan's Command, Flame Slash, and Go for the Throat, which I'm glad for having in this matchup, because I just think, you know, if you don't have interaction, you're going to be in trouble. So this hand's interesting. Yeah, no, this is a keep, though. We can go turn 2 Liliana. We may have to. Alright, Kythian, cool. I'm going to try to block here. There's a world in which I want to discard the Inferno Titan too, but I have a follow-up discard outlet, so if they want to attack, I mean, they could plow this thing, or path or plow this thing, but that's miserable to have to do, right? Alright, 2 white. Okay, Adanto. Do you attack into the Putrid Imp? You do not. Okay. Interesting. I think I am going to use this turn. And go. Nope, not attacking. Or they can Rishport me if they'd like. That'll get in. Yep, you got it. No thanks. Just play out the black manas here. I'm going to force them to sack a dude. And then I got Inferno Titan next turn. I can just hardcast it. It is kind of cool when like Reanimator decks can just hardcast their stuff. And there's kind of a forced attack on the Liliana. I actually don't think I need to discard the Inferno Titan here. I mean, I'm going to cast the Inferno Titan, but I don't think I need to keep Putrid Imp around. I can just block and force them to pay 4 life and kill my Putrid Imp, which is a pretty miserable attack, really. And actually, I'm not like horribly far away from hardcasting not an Emrakul, but a Gristlebrand. Play something else that dies to like. All right, they're not going to do anything else. They're going to hang back on Rishport, I guess. You got it? Nope. I'm going to force them to discard here. I'm going to discard as well. I'm actually a mana short. Yep. So I'm only at 5. All right, go ahead, my friend. And if we're lucky, we'll get to discard our whole hand next turn. I mean, we're going to lose the Liliana. We're going to play our whole hand out next turn. Yeah, I assume that goes away. So Stoneforge Mystic went away. They really want to tap my lands down. They have to know I'm not terribly far from casting out an Emrakul, or not an Emrakul, a Gristlebrand here. What else have you got? They probably have interaction. I mean, I don't think they're sitting there without some sort of Swords to Plowshares or something. All right, Rishport me. Yep, you got it. No thanks. I should have paid for it last turn, to be honest. Yep. Red. Alright, Inferno Titan. I would have rather gotten more creatures, but... Now, if they have swords or path, they're going to do it. They don't have it, maybe. Could get lucky here. Could be very lucky here. Or they could have like an O-ring effect. I probably will untap the Mana Vault next turn. Alright, they have Silverblade Paladin, which actually does allow this thing to attack through. But they both die on the next turn, so if I take... It doesn't really matter if I take. Yeah, I'm fine taking 6. That's cool. Actually, undo. Buried Alive is an interesting card. So let me do the math here. So if I do 2 to this thing and 1 to them, then I hit them for 9, right? Yeah. Yeah, Inferno Titan's a hard one not to block. Well, it's a hard one to block, and it's a hard one not to get away without blocking. So take 9 dead. Alright, cool. So, Rakdos Reanimator. Well, so far 2-1. Oh, sorry, man. Good game to face roller. Alright, he rolls over faces. Good games, man. So, yeah, we'll see. We will see. I mean, against aggro decks, I don't think this is a horrible deck, because, I mean, it does have just some, like, some bombastic starts. I mean, it can, turn to reanimate a Gristlebrand, which is pretty big. I do think it's a tougher matchup for us, though. I mean, I don't know what they had in hand. I assume the Inferno Titan was not going to go the distance in that match, and I figured we were going to game 3, because my hand just wasn't good outside of that. Well, this is one of those hands that, like, can... I think I have to keep this. Now, like, the worst thing ever that could happen to me is I draw a Gristlebrand. I'm just dead in the water. 1 drop, go. Alright. Alright. Go. Just pump it up. I mean, realistically, if I just hit lands for the rest of this game, I would be happy. That's all I really want to do. Because I don't think you can assume this is always going to work. I mean, like, reanimating a Gristlebrand on turn 1 is a spooky play. They're not going to pump it, so they're going to play something else out. It's probably a Thalia or something like that, because or it's another 2-drop and they want to develop their board. Well, what do you do? Okay. Not really a spooky 2-drop. Alright, so Entomb. Is there something better than Gristlebrand? No, Inferno Titan would actually probably be better than Gristlebrand in this matchup, but Gristlebrand... That was actually a really good pickup. I mean, it does die to disenchant pretty hard, but it allows me to draw 7 if they... I already made my land drop, so I'm not going to draw 7 here, I don't think. Basically telling them, hey, have an answer to this or lose. Because if I get to hit and draw 7, like, the game's probably over. Regardless, alright, they just don't have it. Yeah, it's just game over. That's kind of like one of the things with Weenie. If they don't have, like, the efficient answers, like, they're just effed. I'm going to put Massacre Worm in over Doom Whisperer. I think it probably was correct anyways. I mean, the way the matches have fallen, like, it's definitely correct to run Massacre Worm over it. Because I'm playing against, decks that tend not to be very good against Massacre Worm. But I felt like Inferno Titan was enough of a hedge against them, even though I had it in my hand there, that, like, what are they going to do? We're going to hope they don't have, like, a good anti-reanimator package. I mean, we still have Sneak Attack, we have Liliana, we have some decent-ish cards. And we have also got Flame Slash. We never got the Languish back. Languish would be good in this matchup because you really don't want to see that. Just a 1-2-3 drop go, It's a fast curve to beat, especially on like an A plus B deck like what I'm playing. But I don't think this deck's horrible. I mean, it's done well so far. I mean, it's got some cool things and stuff going on. I mean, it's got some janky stuff. Like Buried Alive is not a card I'm ever really happy to play. But I'm a little playable light. I mean, I think it's better than Jaretti. Like, Jaretti is fine in the deck he's supposed to be in. Now, if Jaretti was like 3 mana, like Dak, then I would be all about it. But being 4 mana is just a lot for this dude, and, unless you're getting the synergy for bringing stuff back. Like, if I had like a big artifact dude, maybe I'd do it. I had a shot at the Blightsteel, but I think it would have been wrong. This hand is garbage. This has got to go back. I mean, it could hard cast any of my fatties. This is a perfect hand. I'm going to bottom that and let them go. Alright, discard. Alright, they're going to Thoughtseize me and probably hit my Reanimate. So they're playing white-black then. Alright, they hit my Reanimate, but I have a lot of ways to reanimate stuff, so I'm not too worried about it. I did bottom a land, which I'm actually glad about at this point. I mean, Coalition Relic would be a fine draw, probably. Alright, another land. Alright, go. Do I ever want to draw Gristlebrand? Probably not. Alright, they're white-black. Okay. I am an Entomb here because my fatties are just such horrible draws, and my worst draw is Gristlebrand, so I'm just going to put him in there. Go. Going to get attacked with a Smuggler's Copter, which kind of stinks, but what can you do? I'm probably going to Buried Alive if I don't draw a better thing to do next turn. Alright, so Scrap Heap Scrounger. So they are maybe multicolor? Maybe they're like 3-color? I don't know what's going on over here. This could just get a Godless Shrine or a Scrubland, too, if they're like Dead Guy Ale. Kind of like I think it was my second round opponent or my first round opponent. Second round opponent was Dead Guy Ale. So having that Thoughtseize turn 1 was very, very strong. That was good rationale to keep that hand. They get rid of a Swamp. I still wonder if I draw like a reanimation spell, if it's going to be good enough in this match. I'm going to defer the Duress until later. I'm going to get rid of some of my fatties. Or I get rid of some of my enablers. Well, actually, these are still probably the 2 worst draws in my deck. Una's Prowler can at least block. So I'm just going to get rid of all those because I don't really need them anymore. The Una's Prowlers can block. So hopefully we draw into reanimation or a reanimation effect next turn. We can Duress and then bring back Inferno Titan or, Massacre Worm even. We'll see. I mean, it really depends. Is this a Planeswalker on turn 4? Like, it could be a Gideon. They really want to just kill me as fast as they can. So if they have a Gideon and they're like debating on holding up removal, I think they'd probably just play their Gideon. Alright, what happened there? Oh, Night's Whisper, okay. Okay, Leonin Relic Warder just to put a dude into play so they can do 6 to me. Makes sense. Although Relic Warder is an answer to an enchantment. Makeshift Mannequin would also be an interesting draw because then I could like bamboozle them in their block phase, or in the block phase if they tap out in their main one. I don't think all opponents are going to make that same mistake like our first or second round opponent made when they bribe raid instead. Play this out and say go. I will force him to discard here, I think. Do they have any dudes in their graveyard? It may actually make sense just to block the Scrounger, but they can start discarding dudes to bring it back. So maybe we just block the Smuggler's Copter and force them to discard out of their hand. Because Una's Prowler is really not doing much right now. Alrighty. Well, what do we got? We're very close to dead here. They're going to just kill this thing. Okay, Bob. Bob is a little bit of a threat, but I mean, we can... So we're taking 5 this turn. Yep. So I will block. Well, we'll see what they discard here. A land. We'll block this thing. If they want to discard, they can. They may not. I mean, if they have two like action cards, all right, they have Remorseful Cleric, which is actually, why would they discard that? They could just bamboozle me here. They must have another answer in hand, but like I think that was bad. All right, Gideon. All right. All right, I am dead at this point, so I'm going to go ahead and concede here. Cannot win. So we begin sideboarding. So they have Remorseful Cleric. That's interesting to note. Maybe we do bring in Sweltering Suns over for Phyrexian Arena. Phyrexian Arena is kind of hinky. And then, yeah, I think we just rejam. Is there anything else we may want? We don't want to get discarded again, but what can you do? I'm going to resub on it. Rakdos Return's a little dicey, too. Alright, this hand's fine. It's not the best. I mean, if we get Thoughtseized again, it's kind of rough. But we have a Liliana. We've got mana. I don't want to play the Urborg because they're playing black. Yeah, I think this is keepable. I mean, it's not the best. It's not the worst. My last hand was great, but I mean, it obviously folded very hard to a turn 1 discard spell. I don't think they had great interaction for it, to be honest. Alright, 1 drop. Alright, cool, go. If they pump this thing, that's probably the best for me. If they don't, I'll probably look to Kolaghan's Command. Ideal world would be like, pump it, and then I can just Liliana kill it, and then hold up Kolaghan's Command. Okay, white-black. Alright, this is actually really good for me, because I can blow up both these things in one fell swoop. And then blow up their next drop. Just get both of these. Tell them to go. I'm going to play this out because it allows me to hardcast a fatty. I'm not going to tap it yet. I could reanimate their Stud of War and pump it up, but that seems really bad. I want him to play on a dude here, or a series of dudes, and then just Liliana them. I don't want to play Liliana in open board. Maybe that's wrong, though. Alright, Elspeth is bad for us. Okay. I'm going to make them sack the dude. Then I can at least get a card out of them, and I can attack their Elspeth with the Eunice Prowler, and if they want to discard to protect it, they can. Okay, Scrub-a-Dub land. Okay, create a 1/1. Yep. They have a flyer. Alright, Memory Jar. That seems very dangerous to me. Well, it's kind of what we wanted to see. Buried Alive. I'm going to pick up the Gristlebrand here. I am going to draw 7. They're going to discard a card out of their hand. Okay. I'm going to let them go here. Not even going to attack their Elsbeth. Oddly enough, I kind of want them to put a bunch of stuff on the board. I have a lot of ways to reanimate in my hand. But I kind of want to get a free attack off Gristlebrand. And they have to essentially... Alright, they're going to kill my Gristlebrand. That's cool. You got him. Could also entomb Putrid Imp because I just don't want to draw that thing. But I mean, the chances of them... Alright, create a 1/1, yep. They know I have Massacre Worm too, though. That's cool. We go into Memory Jar. They could do it on my upkeep, try to screw me up. Alright, discard a card, my man. I will discard his Swamp. You try to mill me? I'm going to take the damages here. Reanimate Massacre Worm. They could discard their last card because they plan on jarring next turn. What are they holding in hand that's that important? I don't know, but I'm going to duress them to find out. Force him to cast it. Okay. Alright, I'm fine with this, I think. I'm down to 10 cards, but I have an instant speed way to reanimate Gristlebrand with Necromancy, so I can block if I need to. What was in their hand again? I didn't see anything that relevant. Yeah, Dauntless Bodyguard, a bunch of lands? Alright. Alright, yeah, you can return that thing and fly over. Okay. So that's what they're going to try to do, I think. Okay. Okie doke. He's dead. Do you have Path to Exile as well? That would be miserable. Like, Path would be the best draw for them. Alright, so I think I do draw here. Oh, can I not draw cards off this? Alright, there we go. Draw 7, down to 2. Alright, I'm going to draw here. Okay. Oh shit, I missed. Alright, so force them to discard. I missed because I do have one of the cards I need right now is actually still in my deck. Oops, cancel. So that kind of sucks. So Sweltering Sun's cycle. There it is. Okay. Well, what happens here? I very much so hope that... Well, let's think here. Gristlebrand does not do it next turn, so it needs to be the Inferno Titan. And if they drew an interactive card here, I'm in trouble. I know they can't plus my own dude up, though. They can't use their thing. And then one here. Yep. Now it becomes, do they draw a card that can touch my Inferno Titan? If they did, that's really miserable. And I lose this game. Just have drawn a blocker. Just draw a blocker. Like, that would be fine with me. Or a land. Land or blocker wins me the game here. Anything that touches my Inferno Titan loses me the game. If they're passing it, I mean, unless they're trolling me. Alright, and the old Scrap Heaparoo cannot block, so, yep. I should have charged that, but I don't think it's going to become relevant. Alright, so discard yourself a card. Okay. Alright, we went to this, so I won the game. I don't even need to pump it. Whatevs. Attack. Very cool game. So down to 0 cards in deck. We will attack him. Bolt him. And I think win the game. It's 0 cards in deck. Sweet. So Rakdos Reanimator. An archetype I have not drafted. Actually ever in the cube. I've drafted a lot of Reanimator, but they generally tend to delve into the blue domain. But blue was pretty cut off for us, even though we had a first pick, Underground Sea, that you was off screen because I started the draft late. But I do think we drafted a pretty sweet deck. I think we drafted well for where we were sitting at the table. I do think we could have jumped into red deck wins or white weenie at any point in time and probably had an acceptable deck. But I think this deck was pretty cool. We never really got to use the sneak attack method of it, but the reanimation component of it worked out pretty well. And as it turned out, discard was pretty good against us. We lost a game to a turn 1 Thoughtseize, which is fair. I mean, that card is very good, and I actually will first pick that deck quite a bit. But went 3-0, 6-1, so in games. So hope you guys enjoyed it, and hopefully we'll be back for more Vintage Cube. All right, everyone, enjoy your holidays and take care now.